I have rabbited on the channel about LinkedIn, and I've been trying for the past 9 months to try and really up my posts and up my quality of posts, and I happen to come across the wonderful Rachel, who gives some high quality advice to doctors and other healthcare professionals trying to boost their LinkedIn status. So Rachel, thank you for joining me on the channel today, and just please tell me a bit about yourself.
Where do I start? Former nurse, so a little bit of theatres, elective surgery, orthopaedics. And while I was doing that, I was also working for adult education because I really want people to be able to access both the written word and the spoken word, because life is smaller if you can't. So I went, and then at some point I moved from there into teaching.
Yeah.
And then teaching doctors medical English. And then COVID came along.
Oh no.
I know. And I'd just done my master's in applied linguistics just before I'd finished it, the year that COVID sort of arrived.
Yeah.
Was going to go into language assessment, but instead I came onto, LinkedIn to see what was happening.
Yeah.
And here I am, 5 years later, helping doctors sort of write and get themselves known on LinkedIn.
Fine. So, and sort of, why did you settle then on LinkedIn rather than, say, Facebook, X, any of the other sort of the channels, really?
One, because I can stay hidden on LinkedIn. I don't have to do things like this.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I am pushing you out of your comfort zone. So, again, thank you.
It's easier because you literally just have to write something and you're done. So you have to edit, you have to write, but you don't even have to find an image. There's no videos to make. There's no dancing needed. And you can show who you are with just a couple of good, clear words, and you can connect really easily. And I think that's the big one, is that you can reach out to other people and say, would you like to connect and have a conversation?
Yeah. And I know certainly trying to use that connection and sort of post about what, my job role and what I'm interested in has really sort of helped. And it's funny how many other professionals are on there, certainly like managing directors of big companies, that they suddenly see what you're doing and then you suddenly get a repost from them, which you couldn't do with an email or any other way. So it's a fascinating place to be. I think the one bit or one post that you did was a really interesting breakdown of Adam Kay's and what he posts on LinkedIn. So former doctor, author of This Is Going to Hurt, which is then spun off into the BBC, the hit BBC series. I'm going to show my age. I know him originally from Amateur Transplants, but again, I think we got into our medical university. So anyway, I'll wind that in before it. So, and you did a really nice post about he was doing 6 different ways to sort of really boost your posts up. So can we talk about those?
Yeah, but we might have to edit this bit. He wasn't doing 6 ways. I took this from his book.
Okay.
So I took this from his book, and within the book, he uses a number of different writing strategies. And as a teacher, I always, to help people with their writing, the best thing you can do is give them a model. And he presented me with a model. So I read the book once for content, went through the pain of reading it because I was there at the same time as he was.
Yep.
But then I read it again and went, actually, from a linguistic point of view, the way he kept the reader turning was just ideal for LinkedIn because of all the different ways packed into this one book. So it wasn't just one book, so it's written as a diary.
Yeah.
But the diary has different ways of presenting the information. So I analysed that and I pulled it out and then I made a post of it.
Fantastic. So really you've read his book and then using sort of, we'll highlight your key learnings to then you can use on LinkedIn to make people more interested into what you're posting about. Fantastic. Right. Should we start with number 1 then? So number 1 was writing about different topics.
Yes. Yeah. because we don't want to bore our audience.
Yeah.
And if we, especially when you're starting out, if you have a small audience and beyond your mother and your partner, but if you have a small audience, they're going to keep reading what you're putting out. And if you keep putting the same out, they're going to get bored and they're going to go away and they're going to stop reading. So if we can choose 2 or 3 topics that you really feel passionate about, then I would do that and vary them each week.
Understood. Okay, yeah, that makes good sense, because I try and vary mine between like GP training, a bit of optimization of the computer system. I may throw in a couple of train videos just to sort of break up the monotony a bit, and just get people talking, really. Yeah. So it's funny sort of how many people sort of comment on that, or a picture of the children with the dog or something like that seems to just, as you say, just break things up quite nicely. Okay, so that's a sort of a great point. And you say then point number 2 about varying the post lengths. So how did he do that in the book?
So in the book you've got some stories which are literally 4 lines long.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you've got some that are 2 or 3 pages long.
Okay. Yeah, and I remember reading the book, it's literally like nothing much happened today and then that's it, and you almost move on to the next day, whereas another one, it would be quite an in-depth case. So you're saying you can use that then on LinkedIn to sort of, as you say, just maintain that interest?
Yeah, you can use something the marketers would call the mic drop posts, where they're just sort of 7 lines long, 1 punchy point. Gone. As long as it starts a meaningful conversation, you don't actually have to write War and Peace. Fine.
Okay. So sort of going from one extreme then of the mic drop post of the very short, punchy, and then so what's at the other end? Sort of how long should we be going?
There is a character limit.
Oh, okay, fine. Before I get carried away.
So, yeah. But I've seen people write very long posts and then continue them in the comments.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So often the people that just post maybe not so frequently, once a week or even once a month, they might sort of do a little bit more of a catch up, and they might do a chunkier post, and people will give them the time. Okay.
And do it from that. That makes sense. Yeah. And then sort of like, so leading on to then another bit with that the length, he varied the style and the format of it between sort of letters, diaries. So just talk me through how we can then bring that into LinkedIn as well.
Okay, so often LinkedIn can feel, when you come on, it can feel a little bit bland and it can feel like it's all the same. That's happening a little bit more now with AI. We might move on to that later, where everybody's posting the same. And nobody wants to be bored.
No. No. Understood.
So yeah. And also to get noticed, you often need to be a little bit different.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we're not doing TikTok dancing, okay? But you can if you want.
Okay.
But you can use it in the way that so maybe you write your post as a letter to someone.
Okay.
Or a reply.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or a quote. So somebody said something to you in surgery this morning and you use that at the top and then you write what you would have said to them.
Understood. Okay, so really sort of then playing around with those formats just so it doesn't look bland and AI driven, which is useful. I do use AI, but I think it's adding that human touch at some point, certainly before you hit publish, just to make sure that it's not obvious to the user or to the end user. So
put a bit of you back in your post.
Yeah, because actually that's what people want. They don't want bland ChatGPT. They want a good. They want to hear what you have to say. So
and I think it can impact reputation. In the end, if you just keep putting out this ChatGPT, there's nothing of you. And doctors, people trust doctors because they're human.
Yes, yeah. So and as you say, you've got to put the human back into it from that way. So another point, then you're sort of saying using like dialogue, humour, sort of that strong verb. So go on, talk to me more about that as someone who didn't do too well at English at GCSE.
Okay, so we often need a conversational style for LinkedIn. So when I first came on, I was as bland as everyone else and academic. We need a conversational style, but we need not just to write as we speak, because when we speak, there's me with my hand gestures, my eyebrows going up, my quirkiness, the way I may pronounce a particular word. That can get lost with text. So we need to play a little bit harder. So we need to use those strong verbs. Instead of the patient walked into surgery, tell us how he walked into the room, okay? Make us see it.
Gotcha. So sort of like stomped into surgery and slammed their bottoms down on the chair. That sort of, gotcha.
Yeah. Be a little bit creative.
Yeah. Understood.
The other thing is, so we have a mutual friend, Dr. Joe.
Yes, love Dr. Joe. Going to get her onto the channel at some point. So fair warning.
So she sends voice messages, and she has, and you know it's her immediately, and she'll use words like absolutely and fantastic. So when we're going to write, we need to be able to show those little things. So maybe things like elongating the vowel, writing fantastic with 4 A's in it.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, understood.
Be creative, have fun, and take a risk. So, yeah.
Brilliant. That is some great advice from there. So, and then sort of leading on to then playing with tenses. So go on, talk me. So we're talking about what, like stuff that happened last week, or go on, where are we going with that?
So I think in the post I was talking about either using past tense or using present tense for something that happened in the past when we're telling stories. So if the story's a little bit sad, or then past tense, you might want to put some distance in between you and what happened. So I sat down, she told me what had been happening, she shared her fears with me. If you want to talk about a story where lots of action was happening and you want your reader to be there with you, then try using present tense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I threw the doors open. I looked around. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
What was happening?
So as you say,
I shouted for the nurse. Yeah.
Yeah.
In there, even though it's past. Yeah. Use the present to get your reader in there with you.
Gotcha. So again, going back to that, really paint the picture with strong emotive language as well, to sort of so that you're just not making the post boring at all. And then, so the sort of the last point on your post where you're saying about keeping it clean, and now I'm probably some can tell with a bit of military memorabilia, swearing is something that comes far too naturally to me. Is that then forbidden? Is that what we're on about, or?
I think if I'm not a great one for swearing on LinkedIn in text.
Yep.
But we can use punctuation.
Oh, okay.
So we can use a few asterisks where we would be saying something that was a little bit naughty, and then we're not going to offend anyone.
Yep.
But we definitely need to have a little bit more fun with punctuation, because all of those darn M dashes that AI is throwing all over the place is making things boring. So go and find some semicolons, a few extra exclamation marks. And have fun with the punctuation. But I think it is a professional platform.
Yeah.
It's not Facebook.
No.
And it also, there's not the anger of Twitter or X, as we now call it. I find that it's much more respectful, and I think that's something that we can do. We can disagree with people,
yes,
but we can do it respectfully.
Yeah, and I think that, and for that reason, I came off X. I found it very toxic or very sort of negative, and when you're trying to unwind from a busy day, I don't need to be in that environment of it being just very blur in my face. Whereas actually, as you say, similar conversations crop up on LinkedIn, but they're handled in a very professional manner, with both sides being able to respect each other's opinion. And even you can almost see in the comments them, oh yeah, I see your point there, which is sort of, it's just nice to see and a nice platform to grow on. So, yeah.
100%.
Fab. Well, thank you, Rachel, for your time. Really appreciate it. So, sort of, I take it then, obviously, we've mentioned about LinkedIn. Is that the best place to find you?
100%. So come in, follow me, drop into my DMs, come along and ask if you'd like some help. So I do offer one-to-one support with sort of writing for LinkedIn. I do profile audits and post audits quite regularly. So if you'd like some help, come along and just ask.
And I would, this is my own personal recommendation, go onto Rachel's profile, have a look at the past events, look at a last Roast You post. They are brilliant. So there was a lunchtime one that I listened to as I was between clinics, fantastic. There was one that you did about a month ago now about storytelling and you got a guest on. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. So there are my two recommendations if you're going to go and if you see a pop-up on, or Rachel will see a pop-up saying that so-and-so's looked at your profile from that way. So Rachel, thank you again for those 6 top tips. We'll leave all the links to Rachel's LinkedIn profile in the description below. And get on LinkedIn and just get posting.
Get on, come along, take a risk. What's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely.